Well, for the next week, we're going to be here in Wollongong, about an hour south of Sydney, in Illawarra in New South Wales, for the UCI Road World Championships. The next rider about to start, this is the Italian Edoardo Affini. Very strong rider from Italy, rides for the Jumbo-Visma team. And he's the last rider in this wave of riders, and we've got a total of 4 waves for the riders to be fitted into. Edoardo Affini underway for Italy. This is the smallest wave. The other waves are much larger. 9 riders in this particular group. And Affini gets underway. Normally they say that riders like to cover as much of themselves with the skin suit, but we're seeing more and more riders riding with short sleeves. This is back with Edoardo Affini. Over the last few years, we've got very used to the Sunday of the World Championships being the team time trial. It's the first time we've seen that both the men's and the women's time trial held on the same day, exactly the same distance, on exactly the same course. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's fantastic that we're opening with what is one of the biggest and most important events of the World Championship week, being the individual time trials, and kicking off with the elite races. It's also good to see the men and the women racing across the same parcours, but whether they should be racing over equal distance, this is extending into a little bit of a longer time trial maybe than what the women are mostly used to, but it's a shorter time trial for the men. So it's really making it a test of endurance for the women, and we saw that really play out in the results of the women's race. And the men, they obviously have to start so aggressively here.
Affini is coming up to this intermediate time split. Luke Plapp has the fastest time at this point, and the Italian rider is looking to try and eclipse that time, which he does by 2.11 seconds, 47.7 kilometers an hour to that point. Affini, like we mentioned earlier, thanks very much for joining us. This is the UCI Road World Championships as we wait for the arrival of our first rider to the line, Daniele Bonello. 1 kilometre to go for the Maltese rider. And the intermediate time splits. Let's just update you on what's been happening out there on the roads. Still, we've got Luke Plapp, the fastest rider through the second split. Edoardo Affini, 1.76 seconds down. Matteo Dalcin is in third place, 34.67 seconds down. Through the first split, Affini is still the fastest rider. He's 2.11 seconds ahead of Luke Plapp. This is the arrival of the first rider. He's going to set the standard for all the other riders to beat. But then not too far behind will be the Australian. And Plapp will then be making his way, by the looks of things, into the hot seat for all the other riders to target at. Bonello has ridden a good time trial this afternoon. He's going to complete the 34.2 kilometres of racing. And the Maltese rider, although homegrown in Australia, 57.14, a respectable 45.6 kilometres an hour. This is impressive from this young rider. Look at the way he's taken these corners. He's going to be significantly faster than Bonello. He's going to set the standard for everyone else to beat as he comes powering his way into the finish line. Luke Plapp of Australia is going to set the standard for everyone else this afternoon to try and beat. It's been an accomplished time trial, and the first intermediate split he was slightly down. At the finish line he goes top. An average speed, Simon, of 49.5 kilometres an hour. This is the arrival of Affini. Let's see what the time is going to be for the Italian rider as he makes his way into the conclusion of this time trial. The time to beat, 41:26.83. Affini now chasing that as hard as he possibly can. Is he going to run out of time? There was just a slender difference between him and Luke Clapp at the intermediate time split. Clapp against Affini. Affini is almost at the line now. What is the time going to be? It just goes past, just goes red. And he finishes 3.77 seconds down in second place for Edoardo Affini, the rider from Jumbo-Visma, riding for Italy. Here's the arrival of Bruno Amorai, the Frenchman. This looks like a really strong time. This rider really is firing this afternoon, and he goes faster significantly. 14.75 seconds faster than Luke Clapp to the second intermediate split, Simon. That's a rider who really has ridden the next phase of the time trial superbly.
Well, Yves Lampard working so hard on this climb. He's been putting out big power there. He's rocking and rolling on his bike as he nears the crest of this climb. Coming up to that second intermediate time check, also putting in a good time.
This is a great performance by Yves Lampard, riding for Belgium. The time of Luke Clapp has gone by and Bruno Amorai has gone quicker. 30 minutes, 7.41, and Yves Lampard is now on a mission. Lampard goes to the top of the leaderboard. This is a great time. 48.8 kilometers an hour, and Lampard now doing what he did in the Tour de France. When you look at the last wave of riders and the sort of names that we've got in there with Ganna, Evenepoel, Pogačar, Kung, Malema, Hayter, Cavagna, those sort of riders, who do you see as your top three favourites when we get to that final phase, so we can start to really think about what are the riders that we're going to expect to maybe be in the hot seats at the end of the afternoon, barring a surprise in these riders, which can happen?
Well, I think the big favourites are coming in the final wave of riders in this individual time trial. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Ethan Hayter can do. He's the sixth last rider down the start ramp, but also the defending champion, number one, Filippo Ganna, is the last rider to start today. So if he is to clock the fastest time, he won't even get the opportunity to sit in the hot seat. He will be directly to the podium. And that'll be the same with Remco Evenepoel, the second last rider to start.
It's going wrong for him, but sometimes you just need everything to come together, don't you? You need everything to run the way you anticipate out on the course. This is the arrival of Neilson Powless of the United States of America. Powless out on the course has looked good. He's not going to set the fastest time here. Luke Clapp is going to stay in the hot seat as the fastest rider of the day, as Powless goes fourth fastest at the finish line at 42:11.38.
Now on screen here we have Bruno Amorai. So he's nearing the finish straight. It's a very fast time.
Bruno Amorai looking to set the standard for everyone else to beat. In the hot seat is the Australian rider, Luke Clapp, but the French time trial champion has been getting quicker and quicker throughout this course. Bruno Amorai is about to conclude this time trial, and he is going to go to the top of the leaderboard. The Frenchman reaches the line here in Wollongong. Bruno Amorai is going to be now the fastest rider, 14.81 seconds. That is a stunning performance, nearly 50 kilometers an hour. Guess when you sit on the front of a peloton all day like he does, or in breakaways, at some point, if you concentrate on your time trial, you're probably going to get pretty useful at it.
Yeah, most definitely. And I also see that Bruno Amorai, he also participated in the recent edition of the Vuelta a España. He abandoned the race on stage 18. Maybe that was to give himself just a little bit more time to freshen up for this individual time trial at the World Championships.
However, having had Bruno Amorai go to the top of the leaderboard, this rider has said, let's see whether I can do even better. Yves Lampard of Belgium is travelling now in towards the finishing line. This is Yves Lampard, the first Maillot Jaune of the Tour de France of 2022. Yves Lampard, former Belgian champion, and is he going to go to the top of the leaderboard? Running out of time now. Yves Lampert, is it going to be? He is just about going to do it. Wow, 0.40. 49.8 kilometers an hour. Goes top of the leaderboard by less than half a second. We've seen Yves Lampert go to the top of the leaderboard. Maybe we'll just shuffle things around just a little bit more. The Swiss bull comes powering his way into the finish. This is Stefan Bissiger. Bissiger has really ridden well in the second part of this time trial. Had a few issues in the first. Is this going to be a medal opportunity for Stefan Bissiger of Switzerland? The time to beat, 41.11.62, and he now smashes the time of Lampert. 22 seconds quicker, and the first rider over 50 kilometers an hour. Bissiger top of the leaderboard. Tobias Foss is reaching the intermediate splits. The time to beat Magnus Sheffield, 8:54.74, and he's gone just a little bit quicker. 1.75 seconds faster than Magnus Sheffield for Tobias Foss, 48.6 kilometers an hour. Back to Tadej Pogačar, twice the winner of the Tour de France.
34 kilometers is what awaits now.
Takes a big deep breath. What is Pogačar going to achieve this afternoon? Is it going to be a world title in the time trial? He certainly looks up for this. Pogačar is underway to a huge reception. He looks really up for this time trial this afternoon. I thought he might ride this as a warm-up for the road race, but that's not his intention, is it? Waiting for the time to tick down. Is it a date with a rainbow jersey? Let's find out in about 40 minutes' time. Remco Evenepoel underway for Belgium. Looking space age in that hat. He turns right and goes out. There is no holds barred through that corner. He's going flat out. He's going to go all the way to the finish in full pursuit mode. The start of the defending champion, Filippo Ganna, about to get underway. Ganna has taken the last 2 world titles. Can he do the same again?
Counting down almost 10 seconds.
Ganna last year beat Wout van Aert into second, Remco Evenepoel into third. The year before, Ganna beat Wout van Aert and Kung. Ganna was the bronze medalist behind Rowan Dennis in 2019. It could go any way.
It could go anyway, and what a contrast in riders. You had Filippo Ganna, 193 centimetres tall, 83 kilos, racing against Remco Evenepoel, 171 centimetres tall and 63 kilos.
Total contrast in stature between those two riders. Ganna is into time trial mode. Here's Stefan Kung on the climb. Can he get close to the time of Ethan Hayter? So often this rider misses out. Today, let's see if he can do it. Stefan Kung powering his way towards the first intermediate split. The time to beat, 8:52.42. He's going to push Ethan Hayter pretty close. He makes his way to the intermediate time split. He's going to go top of the leaderboard. 1.69 seconds for Stefan Kung. Here's Tadej Pogačar, arrival at the intermediate split. He's going to have lost a fair amount of time here. The winner of the Tour de France, he might be surprised to know that he's lost 15.89 seconds to Ethan Hayter.
To the different time zone and recover from that 3-week race.
Ganna working hard. Let's see what the first split is going to be. Filippo Ganna, the time to beat. Stefan Kung's time is coming up. 8:50.73 for Stefan Kung. Can Ganna go close to that time? Is he going to be just outside? The time goes red. Stefan Kung is going to be top of the leaderboard. Oh, Ganna goes top of the leaderboard. Not quite red. He just eclipses the time, I think, of Stefan Kung. Only just.
Second, separating the first 6 riders, the intermediate time check.
It's shaping up to be a pretty special finish. Here's the arrival of the youngster Magnus Sheffield, the American rider, at the second intermediate split, chasing the time of Bissiger and goes 21.11 seconds faster.
He smashed the time there of Bissinger. Oh, Ethan Hayter really pushing the limits through that tight right-hand corner. You could see his bike shaking through the corner there. Now coming up to this section, just over 1 kilometre to go until he passes the finish line for the first time.
Ethan Hayter, so at home on his time trial bike, grew up on the track as well. When it comes to the road race, oh no, he's got problems here.
Looks as though he has dropped his chain there. You can see it's dropped off between the chain rings. He's trying to bounce it back on again.
He's got big problems here. Oh, and Ethan Hayter, you heard him. You didn't need a translation for what he thought, and now he is pretty angry. This rider leading this time trial. Quick bike change, but this is going to cost him significantly. He's kind of also lost the head a bit. Ethan Hayter, who was leading, had gone through that split with the fastest time.
Oh, that has cost him a significant time, up to 30 seconds there to go through that bike change. However, it's the fact that he would have lost rhythm there for a few minutes as well and lost concentration. You can see the frustration on Hayter.
Fastest time now at the intermediate split. Tobias Foss, 20.52 seconds ahead of Magnus Sheffield. Foss now is starting to roll as well. Here's the arrival of Tobias Foss. Well, this rider is looking strong and looking fast. At the intermediate split, he was 20 seconds ahead of Sheffield, 41 ahead of Bissiger. And Tobias Foss of Norway comes flowing round this turn and looking strong. And this is going to be a pretty special time.
Tobias Foss has the fastest second intermediate time check, and he's looking good to be the fastest at the finish.
Tobias Foss of Norway, look at that. This is an all-out effort to the line. 46.81 seconds faster than the Swiss rider Bissiger. He's absolutely smashed him into the next city. Tobias Foss, top of the leaderboard now. Top of the leaderboard then, Tobias Foss ahead of Bissiger, ahead of Yves Lampert, the first yellow jersey of this year's Tour de France. At the second intermediate split in Dumfries Avenue at the top of this climb. Stefan Kung is firing on all cylinders right now. This rider heading to this intermediate split goes faster than Foss by 11.5 seconds. 50.5 kilometers an hour by Stefan Kung. It's Filippo Ganna who's now heading towards this intermediate split. He's the last rider to reach the top of Dumfries Avenue, and then he will turn downhill back towards the beaches to try and win this title. Ganna's time, as it ticks away, it looks like he's running out of time.
He's already behind Stefan Kung. He's a long way down on Stefan Kung at this point in time.
In actual fact, this rider might not even see a medal. Here's the arrival of Mikael Bjerg. Bjerg finishes with the 8th fastest time. Here comes Filippo Ganna to the intermediate split. That's been a very hard climb for Filippo Ganna. The Italian powerhouse here in Wollongong is being left wanted by the climbs and the technicality of this course. Ganna goes through, and it looks like the 5th fastest time at the splits. This rider's pretty devastated, I think. Ethan Hayter, who was in the ballpark and had a bike change. Heading up now to the finish, and he's still very, very close to the time of Tobias Foss. Did that bike change cost him the hot seat? Second fastest for Ethan Hayter. 1,000 metres. Is this a date with the rainbow jersey in about a minute's time? Stefan Kung, the time to beat at the finish line is 40 minutes 2.78. This is looking a little bit tight.
This is going to be extremely tight. 700 metres to go. Stefan Kung here going at 70 kilometres an hour. He has 32 seconds to finish.
This is going to be a nail-biter for Tobias Foss. It looked like it was a done deal at the intermediate split. Now it may not be, because Stefan Kung is gliding his way in towards the finish, but it's not there yet. It's ticking down the time to beat, 40 minutes 2.78. Tobias Foss has ridden some final phase of this time trial. What is the time going to be of the Swiss rider? Is Stefan Kung going to go into the hot seat? Is it going to go to Tobias Foss? On the line it goes red. Tobias Foss stays in the hot seat. Wow, 2.95 down. Pogacar comes in to conclude this time trial. He's taken a little bit of time back on the run-in. Who knew that that run-in was so important, that there was the possibility of the tables turning and times changing? Tadej Pogacar reaches the finish line. What is it going to be for the Slovenian rider as he heads into World Championship weekend next weekend with the hopes of winning the road title? Pogacar reaches the line now, 5th fastest time. Only 2 riders left to finish. Here comes Remco Evenepoel. Can he add La Vuelta to a world title here? Evenepoel is in the finish area, but the time is also running out. 40 minutes 2.78 is the time to beat, and it goes red. Tobias Foss stays in the hot seat. Evenepoel is closing in, and Evenepoel goes 3rd fastest. Only 9.16 down. Look at the face of Tobias Foss. It could be his. There's only one rider who can take it away.
There's only one rider left on the parkour who was significantly down at the intermediate time check. This is looking very good for Tobias Foss, and it looks as though the reality is starting to sink in.
What a finish we are having to this afternoon of time trialling. You know, sometimes world titles just do not go to the plan. And this afternoon is one of those. The rider from Jumbo-Visma, look at his face. He can't, yeah, wake up, Tobias. This is something pretty special. Here's Filippo Ganna. 1,200 meters to go, and the time is going to go by. As he reaches the banner across the road, the time of Tobias Foss is going to go past.
Well, Tobias Foss's time of 40 minutes and 2 seconds has just about passed, with 1 kilometre remaining for the former world time trial champion Filippo Ganna.
Filippo Ganna has not had a day to remember here in Wollongong, but one young rider has just had a dream come true. Tobias Foss is the world champion of the individual time trial. Filippo Ganna may well not even get a medal here in Australia. As he rides into the conclusion of this time trial, Filippo Ganna for the last 2 years has absolutely dominated the World Championships. He took the title in 2020, he won it in 2021. When this course was looked at, first of all, everyone said, no, it's not Ganna's. And then yesterday, everyone started to say, it's Filippo Ganna's course. It's proven to be the undoing of the Italian. Filippo Ganna rides in and is going to be way, way down. 7th place for the defending champion. The world title goes to the Norwegian Tobias Foss, the winner of the Tour de l'Avenir, in the top 10 of the Giro d'Italia. And yes, that's absolutely right. Wow. I think when he looks back on this, it would be a pretty great performance. But look at this. Tobias Foss of Norway wins. 2.95 seconds ahead of Stefan Kung and 9.16 ahead of Remco Evenepoel. A rider who will rue today is Ethan Hayter, 39.95 seconds down, and you said that will have cost him at least 30 seconds, the bike change. Here's confirmation of the result again to just let you digest our top 10. Ethan Hayter having a bike change. Magnus Sheffield is a rider who I wonder what happened to him. 17th, 144 down. And there's the rundown of all the riders who took part in today's individual time trial. Daniel Bonello, the Maltese rider there, who was the first rider off. Tobias Foss pulls on the rainbow bands. He'll wear those next season in every individual time trial he rides. What a day. That's pretty special, isn't it?